14 and 8 months. That's how old a child can be in Michigan to begin a driver's training program. At 14 and 8 months, my kids didn't even know what they wanted on their peanut butter sandwich. But yet, here they were, able to get behind the wheel of a several thousand-pound vehicle and make critical life and death choices. 14 and 8 months, is that old enough for children to have such a responsibility? You decide. As the mother of 3, when my oldest son came home and asked me, "Mom, at 14 and a half, can I sign up for driver's training?" I looked at him and thought he must be crazy. Here he was, not even barely old enough, big enough to see over top of the steering wheel, and he's asking me if he can sign up for driver's training. It was at that point he handed me the paperwork, and there it was in black and white. In Michigan, a child only has to be 14 and 8 months to sign up for driver's training. I want to take this opportunity to appeal to your senses, where I'll discuss the laws in Michigan on obtaining a driver's license, talk about how important it is for the parents to be involved in this critical developmental level in their child's life, and detail the statistics about age-related incidents in the state of Michigan, age-related driving incidents in the state of Michigan. Every one of us in this area drives vehicles. We either ride in them or drive in them, or we pass them daily. And so we need to decide how important it is for us and our involvement in those people that are driving those vehicles. According to Michigan.gov, we have what is called the GDL. Spelled out, that's the Graduated Driver's License Program. The GDL consists of 2 driving training segments and 3 licensing levels. The concept is to help reduce the amount of teenage driving accidents that result in serious injury and death. And while it's a great idea, and it does help increase awareness in young teenage drivers, the fact still remains that a teenager only has to be 14 and 8 months. Level 1 starts with the child signing up for the course and taking 24 hours of classroom time and 6 hours of practice driving, along with 4 hours of observed driving with a trained driving professional. After that, it's left up to the parents, and then the child and the parent together have to accomplish 30 hours of documented driving time, which includes 2 hours of nighttime driving. Once the child has completed the above requirements and 3 months has passed, they can then sign up for Segment 2 of driver's training. And Segment 2 of driver's training only has 6 hours of classroom time, and that's it. Once Segment 1 and 2 are complete, 6 months has passed since the child has obtained the Level 1 license, and they have documented 50 hours of training time. The child is then able to sign up to take the driver's skills test. After that, they're 16 years old and they're on their own. So imagine that, 50 hours of training. We do more work than that in a week. Is that enough for our kids to be able to have this responsibility? That's where the parents come in. The laws might be relaxed on the legal age of driving, but our responsibility as parents is huge and a determining factor in whether or not we should allow our children to embark on this journey. Throughout the GDL program, parents play a huge role. We're the ones that have to support our children in this decision. We're the ones that have to make sure that we use our judgment in determining whether or not our children have the ability to go out there on their own and have this responsibility. We're the best judge of that character. Parents are responsible for signing the children up, paying the fees. 90% of us will pay the fees that our children have to take. We're the ones that have to observe the documented driving. We're the ones that have to take them to the Secretary of State and sign up that they've done the documented driving. And we're the ones that have to ultimately let our children loose into the streets. A huge important role in this is establishing a parent-child contract with your child before the driving occurs. What this will do is give your child guidelines. It tells them what your expectations are of them, and it gives them some sense of security on how they should go about their driving. If you wait until after a child has an incident in driving and then you try to set up a contract, it's a little bit too late. They've already learned those bad habits. So parents play a huge role. One thing that I learned about my kids when they were doing it is their friends would tell them that, oh yeah, my parents didn't do the documented driving, but they still took me down there. The documented driving does not have to be turned in. If a parent is willing to take their child in there and say they did the documented driving and they really didn't do the documented driving, there you have a child who doesn't have the experience, but yet their parents are letting them loose on the roads. And those children are the ones that are driving on the roads with us. Teen driving statistics in Michigan tell us that 1 in every 5 16-year-old teenage drivers will have an accident. Crashes are the leading cause of death for teens in the United States. And why is that? It has to do with the psychology of the child. Whether or not they've had the practice and the experience, whether or not they're mature enough to handle the responsibility. Teen drivers have less experience on the road than older drivers and often don't understand the risks of driving as well. They have that Herculean spirit. They think that they're above all, that things are not going to happen to them, and that's just part of their maturity level. The human brain doesn't fully develop until an individual is in their 20s, and the function that affects judgment and risk-taking are among the last to mature. It's up to us. As responsible, mature adults, we must take the effort to teach our children safe driving practices. We must also not feel pressured into pushing our children through a program just because it's legal by law. We as parents must use our judgment to decide if our children are ready for this incredible responsibility. We are the most important factor in the progression of this privilege. If we want this to reduce the statistics of teenage driving incidents, we must be active. It's time to be active, and it's time to be responsible. Thank you.